Malinda Perera and me doing some comedy. As I mentioned in other episodes, Malinda moved to Austria and he came back to Dublin for a couple of days to visit, and I caught up with him. We had a great time. He was here for a couple of days, like 4 days. Hello, welcome back to Al Talks. This podcast I started 3 years ago to chronicle me starting stand up. This podcast is a weekly podcast. It comes out once a week, and this is just a small little introduction video into the podcast. So down below in the description of each episode, you can go to my Linktree and find links to everything connected to me. This podcast is available on YouTube, which you're watching it on right now, and also on Spotify. But yeah, that is just a small introduction into this podcast and everything that goes along with it. Hello, welcome back to the podcast. What did I do with this? Things are moving when they shouldn't. It's okay now? Anyway, so yeah, welcome back to the podcast. In this episode, I will be talking about Malinda Perera and me doing some comedy. As I mentioned in other episodes, Malinda moved to Austria and he came back to Dublin for a couple of days to visit, and I caught up with him. We had a great time. He was here for a couple of days, like 4 days. It was great to see him. He's been gone. He's been living in Vienna now for the last 4 months, so it was good to see him after that short little break. I did a show at a night that Malinda used to run in Barua, and a new show taken over by Coleman Haynes and John O'Keefe called Tried by Laughter. And that show was very, very good. It was fantastic. It was a great audience, very nice. That room for comedy is great anyway. But that night was special because the audience was just really good. It was really participative. Really enjoyed myself. And it was just, it was a great gig. All the other comedians did really well as well. It was just fantastic atmosphere. It was really good night and really enjoyed myself. And then afterwards we hung around with a couple of comedians, having fun, which was great. It was, it was great to see Malinda because, we were still keeping contact and stuff like that, but it was just very good. That entire weekend pretty much was just hanging around with comedians because, it was like that time I went to do that spot. It was a couple, probably in the 4 months that Malinda's been gone, I've been to Dublin maybe like 3 or 4 times. Just been, kind of busy with work and things like that. I didn't really get a chance to head out and do comedy, and it was just great to get back into it. Just such a lovely room, lovely people. It was really good, enjoying myself. Really see myself improve there, which was great. And just even to see some comedians that I haven't seen in a long time. And Malinda's been a guest in this podcast before, and I mentioned in the previous episode, I think by the time this episode comes out, Malinda's special would have been out already on YouTube. So if you haven't checked it out, please do. I have a link down below to Malinda Perera's Linktree. You can find all his links there. And if you live anywhere in mainland Europe as well, or if you live in Vienna and Austria, do check him out there, because Malinda has been a great friend. He's been a great mentor for comedy for me. Helped me out numerous times and over the years, and I've helped him out any way I could. And it's sad that he's not living here anymore, but things are very expensive, so he had to make a tough decision, which he did. But it was nevertheless good to see him after a couple of months he's been away, and it was good to get kind of back into comedy from the little break I had. Unintentional, of course. I just was working an awful lot and I couldn't really get away, and very tired. But yeah, it was just a fantastic, great show. Really enjoyed it, and it was good to kind of get back out there, do the shows. But I'm repeating the same stuff. But show wise, I did pretty much. I think it was kind of mix of old and new stuff. There was no, actually, I'm lying. There was new. I think it was like I think the opening joke was the only new thing. The rest of the stuff, because the opening joke fit him with my closer. So, in that sense, it was. I just had to structure it that way. But the 5 minutes that I had was, I think, it was about 4. I think 4 or something. It was very, very good. The audience really enjoyed it. I had a bit of crowd interaction with some people from Germany, which went really, really well. And it was kind of just a spur of the moment sort of thing. And, last time I had crowd interactions with German folks didn't go so well. In fact, I bombed terribly. One of the worst bombings I ever did in comedy. And it was just very difficult time for me, really, really bad. And well, yeah, it was just it was terrible. It really, really was. Now, but that night, yeah, it was just great, fantastic comedy show, very, very enjoyable, and it was great to catch up with people that I hadn't seen in a while, and the camaraderie that ensued over that weekend, which was great. Now, I was sick by the end of the weekend, which wasn't good either, but yeah, it is what it is, I suppose. But what am I going to say now? I think. What do I think? Yeah, that's pretty much all I want to talk about, really, because like I said, I'm recording these in bulk, and I'm kind of a time limit at this stage, so I'm just gonna wrap up this episode. Fantastic night at Try by Laughter. Also, if you happen to be in Dublin on Tuesday or Thursday night, do check out Try by Laughter. They're also out on Instagram. I'm gonna try and put a link down below as well for them. And very, very good night. Coleman and Coleman Haynes, John O'Keefe are great comedians. You should definitely check them out. Coleman is currently touring a show. It sold out in the Edinburgh Fringe last year or this year, I can't remember. No, I think it was last year. So very, very good, and really enjoyed that little bit of time away, seeing friends, comedians. It was great catching up and stuff like that. But yeah, so all the links down below as per usual. And as per usual, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and I'll see you all next week. Bye bye.